All right, so Victor Maldonado, the son of Victor Maldonado. Anybody from NYC knows Coach Vic from Grand Street and all that. Very prolific coach. Has coached guys to a lot of success, all state wrestlers and everything. And then some years back, he moved down to Florida, obviously bringing his son with him.
Yeah.
So, what makes Florida different than NYC just in general?
Um, I think the biggest adjustment for me was style of wrestling. I feel like New York is there's a lot of guys who are fundamentally like just sound like great wrestlers. I feel like Florida, biggest adjustment is kids love to scramble out here. I got here and I had to learn to scramble. I had to learn to put myself in weird positions, but it's only making me better for the next level, whether it's Division 1, D2, D3, whatever my next level is. It's only making me better wrestling through all these positions and stuff.
So now that's what Florida brings. But then, knowing the geography of Florida, I got a family member from Florida. I haven't been over there obviously, but looking at it from afar, it's like you got to drive pretty much everywhere. It's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot calmer, you know. But there's still some active spots. But I mean, it's not like you could be in the suburbs on one block and then the next block you're in the hood. It's not like that down
Yeah, yeah, it's not
there, right?
like
So it's like, did Vic bring in some of the toughness that we have being from the five boroughs? Was he able to like bring that to them? Because I would imagine that a lot of them don't have that.
yeah, like you probably could imagine. My dad is bringing the New York to Florida, so like, well, by the end of the season, you're gonna think that he brought New Yorkers and just brought them to my school, and we're gonna be one of the toughest teams. He preaches in the room. If we're not gonna be the best wrestling team, if we're not gonna be the best skilled team, then we're gonna be the hardest conditioned. We're gonna be the hardest workers. So even in those matches where we might not be the better wrestler, our minds, our training is just gonna be so much better that we're going to be able to pull off those matches where the skill level is here, but we just have that level of just grit.
Now, with that being said, Vic has posted a few times where some of the teammates might slack off. So let everybody know what happens if you miss practice run by Coach
If
Vic.
you miss practice, you have to just be ready to pick a song and you're going to sing. You're going to sing. But it's officially December, so it's over. No more singing. It's straight. If you miss practice, we working hard, extra hard. So but the singing was fun. It was very funny. But now it's time. December, as the season gets later, you get more level of focus as you move on throughout the season.
I, I would think that because it's somewhere that's not NYC and they're wrestling since they're like five, usually. At least we would think that. I'm
Yeah.
thinking that they wouldn't want us to get practice. Like,
Yeah. Um, we have about like 50 kids on the roster, and there's maybe like 3, 4 people who miss practice. Like on a bad day, like usually the room is packed. Like there's not a lot of guys who miss practice. So when you see those videos, you see there's like 1 or 2 people singing, but there's like 50 kids on the roster. So it makes you think that means there was like 48 kids in practice. Like the numbers is really good. We don't have a lot of people that miss practice often.
that's really, really good. But yeah, that's very good. 48 kids. Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, with having like 50 people on the roster, does the head coach and Vic like know them all personally? Is it how are they gonna have a personal relationship with 50 people?
Yeah, my dad just coming down, just coaching. Sometimes, he'll mix up names, but my dad is very good with building personal um relationships with each kid and stuff. Him for the Instagram videos and stuff. He gives everybody a little nickname that helps him know people like better. Just get better, get to know them. Makes it fun because you have those days where practice ain't fun at all. It's just you just sitting there, you questioning, why am I even wrestling? But then you have those days where it's fun, and after practice you crack jokes and stuff, and that brings you to practice the next day with the yeah, I want to be here.
Now, with that mindset, that might be the case like in the preseason, but then when the season gets going and you have to like maintain your weight, I want to know, does the warmer climate make it easier to cut and maintain weight versus it being like we said earlier off camera, like 30 degrees right now?
Yeah, 30 degrees. You go outside for a run and you're freezing. Here, I go outside for runs and 30 minutes I'm down point 6, point 8 a pound, 30 minutes if I'm really running hard enough. Sometimes you don't New York you have to layer up even in the preseason. During season, you go outside, you're gonna have to be indoors. You're not losing no weight outside. It's freezing. You have those days in the middle of the season where it's snowing. Um, but out here, you can always run outside and just cut some weight, get your weight down. Um, so I feel like that's one thing that it gives you no excuse. It's less excuses down here. You can't say, oh, it was cold outside. I couldn't cut the weight. I couldn't go outside for a run. If if I don't go outside for a run, then that was just me being lazy.
Now, because it's a lot warmer, like 60, 70 degrees over there, while right now it's like 38, 40 degrees up here with the wind chill. So it really feels like 32, 35 degrees. Is it less likely that people are getting sick because of the warmer climate? I would imagine people's
Um,
health was probably better.
I haven't got sick yet since I've been here. So for me, I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's less. I get sick less um over here. I never really get sick when I'm here. Now living here, I haven't been sick one time. Um, that's great. Usually I get sick once during the season and that week sucks.
Speaking of that, Vic told me something. He actually, one time he put in his story, he was eating cake and milk. I think it was like after workout, before workout. And he was like, eat what you like. And I like cake. And I would ask like Isaiah Torres and people like that he was coaching, like, do y'all do that? Like, to eat what you like then? But Vic always says that a good, like a real hard workout could, like, you could outwork a bad diet. But I'm like, I don't know about this whole eat what you like. Like, do you do that?
Um, he's you can eat what you like, just not irresponsibly eat. So you can have a cake here and there. You can have a little junk food here and there. I'm not gonna say that I have the best diet because I'll be lying. But you can you can responsibly eat. You can have some snacks here and there, cheap meals and stuff. But just my dad is big on in his wrestling career. He was jumping to 150 to cut down to 125 in the same week, going back up, going back down. So he doesn't want me to go have the same steps, go up weight just to cut it back down. So when I'm eating and stuff, to be responsible, never go over a certain weight, simple stuff like that.
That's good. And now that kind of plays into the geography because it's not like I don't think there's a food desert in NYC. I don't think that could exist in NYC like other places because like even around me, there's not like healthy spots, but I could get on the bus, I can get on the train. It's not that big of a deal. But in everywhere else, you need to drive. The transportation probably sucks if you don't drive. So it's like, how does the geography just impact a lot of like your daily routine? Because you'll see like nothing for like 2 miles.
Yeah. Fortunately for me, I have a lot of great teammates. Let's say, um, I don't have a ride to go here, I don't have a ride to go there. My teammates come pick me up. There's sometimes where I didn't have a ride to practice. They come pick me up on the way, um, on their way to practice. So I just have great teammates that they come pick me up whenever I need something. There's sometimes there'll be a practice that we go to that's in Tampa, 2 hours away. They'll pick me up or drive. My dad drive me everywhere. We've been to Miami, Tampa. We've been all over Florida this summer just working. So like in New York, you take the train, you get to beat the streets, you get up there to Katy, different places. But here, everything's in the car. No public transportation. Like you said, if you want to go somewhere and you're not taking public transportation, if you don't got a car out here, you're gonna be walking for a long time.
Now, how does that affect the mindset? Because your dad could tell you, I live in the Bronx. So I wrestled at MLK, I wrestled in Manhattan, but I'm from the Bronx. So I would go from the Bronx to like Poly Prep on a Sunday morning. And anyone that's not from NYC or anyone that is from NYC, Sundays and Saturdays, the trains are messed up. But I'm still
Crazy.
getting there in the
Yeah,
morning. That's at the bottom of you from Brooklyn, that's Bay Ridge. That's the bottom. So imagine
yeah.
going from the top of NYC to the bottom. Right? I will go to Elite Wrestling Academy. I'll train over there. That's in Sheepshead. That's like very far. I would go to Staten Island, right? So like I would do all the travel. I'll go 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes. Just getting working. Sometimes I would go from home to school day. And then if I'm not at high school practice, go down and beat the streets. But that could be at like Morrow High School, which is all the way Avenue L in Brooklyn. So it's like I'll get back home and I have to still be at school the next morning, 8 o'clock. So it's like, I'm doing that, but then people in like Florida or parts upstate, people in like some random spot like Wisconsin, whatever, like you said, they could just hit your ride. And even if they have to drive 2 hours, you're sitting in the car for 2 hours versus for us, get on the train and all that. You got to be awake. You got to be alert. You got to
Yeah,
see what's going on for that whole 2 hours. So, like,
moving
what's the
around,
difference in mindset?
skipping trains, all that.
Yeah. So, like, what's the difference in mindset with like sitting in the car for 2 hours versus going from bus to train, all that for 2 hours?
I will say it makes it a lot easier. You don't got to be aware, drive. Let's say you have a practice at 8 in the morning. You have to wake up at 5:30, get in the car just to be there early. You can sleep in the car and stuff like that. New- everybody from New York knows you can sleep. You can't sleep on the train. If you do, might miss your stop. Something crazy happens. The trains are crazy in New York. So I feel like it makes it a lot easier knowing that you could go to sleep. You're just chilling there. You don't gotta worry about getting off at the right stop, everything being crowded. If the car is crowded, it's with your teammates. So and I'd rather be crowded in a warm car than in the winter on a train with people you don't even know.
And that's true. Man. And then, like, when you get to the tournament, let's say you compete and you had to drive to Tampa, right? Let's say you get to the tournament. How does it feel when you get there and you just slept the whole car ride and you feel well rested versus if you went from Brooklyn to Truman for a tournament, which is all the way up, and then you just like you were awake the whole time, you were alert the whole time. Like, how do you feel doing that versus being in Florida?
Yeah, I do feel like it is easier being, the more well rested you are, the better you're gonna wrestle and stuff like that. But I feel like even in New York, I was big on if I was gonna be up on that train whole time, I'm just visualizing me winning, visualizing different ways I'm gonna score. So I feel like those are two differences. Now I'm more well rested. I'll be sleeping in a car, or sometimes if it's a big competition, I've I'd be nervous. I can't even sleep. So I'm just visualizing and stuff. So, but I would say I'll take the car over the train any day.
Definitely, yeah. So then now it's obvious that you want a state title. Everyone wants a state title. Everyone in the United States that goes to get a state title in February, wherever the state title tournament is, depending on what state they're at. So, you know, how do you how do you feel about like chasing a state title in Florida versus New York? Because Florida's not really known as a hotbed, similar to NYC, but like the state of New York, though, I feel it gets more glorified because we could rattle off a bunch of names from New York, but not too many from Florida, you know? So it's like you go to states in Florida and all that, like, are you gonna have the same like will it feel as prestigious, like just getting there? Does it feel the same way chasing that?
I feel if I move to Jersey, to Pennsylvania, to my mindset will forever be the same. I've been working all summer and it hasn't been for no reason. I always have that goal in mind instead of just keep saying, "Oh, I want to be a state champ." 1,000 kids, everybody in my bracket, when we get to states, is gonna obviously want to be a state champ. Nobody's gonna want to get there just to be there. Once you're there, you want to win a state title. So instead of just saying it, just working for it. I have great teammates, great room. You've seen we bring great people in there. We had Clay Guida in there. He just wrestled at Real Mexican Freestyle. We have killers in the room all the time. So just getting better every day. I feel like I'm already 10 times better from when the summer started to now. So just more stop saying I want to win a state title. That's the difference from freshman year. I was big on saying it, and now just being about it, just putting in the work. Um, a lot of people could see around me that just been killing myself all summer, just putting in work. And then if they ask why, I want to win a state title.
That's facts, yeah. So like I think that's part of like the grittiness of NYC, just once we like walk around and stuff, even if you live in like Manhattan, a nice part of Manhattan, you still like it's still New York. Like it might look nicer, but it's still New York, you know. So it's like just being so used to being having your head on a swivel all the time. If the train gets messed up, you gotta go to a whole another train. Sometimes you gotta go uptown, downtown just to get back uptown. You know, stuff like that. Just like grittiness of knowing you have to always be prepared to work a little bit harder just to get where you gotta get. How much of that do you think is giving you the help fostering your work ethic to be able to train so hard to try to get that state title when maybe a lot of the people around you in Florida might not have that same experience?
Um, I definitely feel like just being from New York and not just anywhere in New York, Grand Street's room from freshman year to now, Grand Street's room helped me a lot with the grittiness. I had Perez freshman year, had Garcia, had my dad, had Dooley, had I had Umbe, I had crazy amount of help in that Grand Street room. Had killers in the room. Isaiah comes back all the time. JC, those are people that I feel like if I text them right now or call them right now, they'll pick up and they'll give me some advice. Talk to them a bunch of times throughout the year, throughout the season, just asking for advice. Ice and JC had amazing collegiate careers, Demetrius. So just um, having the alumni and the coaches, um, all the Grand Street coaches, I still could call and text them to this day, send them a match, ask them how they feel about it and stuff. So I feel like that helped a lot with the grittiness, just being Grand Street, Grand Street made.
That's facts, yeah. So now, like, how many of the guys on your team do you think are like Maldonado trained? Like, have any of them earned that moniker yet?
Oh, my dad is tough with the Maldonado train. I don't think nobody's Maldonado trained yet, but a lot of people. There's a couple people close.
So, what is it? like really take wrestling wise to like get that? You think that's something that they're necessarily like
Mm.
going
Um,
after? Is that something Vic promoting, or is it just a matter of like he wants to see it organically and then he'll stamp you?
the thing with my dad is he's more of a how you wrestle, not the result of your wrestling. You can wrestle a great 6 minutes and lose, and he'll be more happy if you wrestle a terrible 6 minutes and you win. So that's a big thing that I feel like made me better too. That he'll keep it real with me. I could win a match by pin, and he'll tell me I'm that was a horrible match. He'll tell me the good parts and he'll tell me the bad parts, but he'll say we gotta get better on this, this, and this. But you watching the match, uh, I'm in high school still, so before seeing, I'm thinking, oh, I would just pin the kid in the second period early. I just had a great match, and he'll say, he had an opportunity to score here, here, and then you really watch the match back and you'll be like, he's right. But it's always great to have somebody who tells you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. Because there's a lot of people that will say, oh, you pinned him. That's a good match. But there's not a lot of people who say, could have easily lost that match. So just having him to humble me, kind of, it's always great. But I feel like my school has a lot of great wrestlers, so I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the season you see a lot of people Maldonado train.
Yeah, and that's pretty good that he that's fostering that mindset in everybody. Because like think about the other guy, like they were winning the whole match, like you just came back in the last second and pinned them. They
Yeah.
probably they're probably upset.
That's
Yeah,
also part of the grittiness and stuff. Being able to um just wrestle 6 minutes, have an empty mind when you're wrestling and stuff. Obviously, being aware of score, the time and stuff, but also wrestling just just being not thinking too much about it, just worrying about the next point. My head coach preaches that a lot. Just saying, if you um give up the first takedown, don't just chill on bottom. You gotta get up 1 point. Freshman year, a takedown was 2 points. Now it's three. So you get up and now you're winning if you score. If you get up and you get a takedown, now you're winning. Opposed to um getting taken down, getting ridden out, and being like, "Damn, I should have never let him take me down." You just get taken down, have a short mind, and just get up, worried about the next points.
who is your head coach, by the way?
My head coach is Clay French. So my school, Mariner High School, he's been the head coach for a couple years now. Say, um, great coach. Taught me a million things since I've been there that I never even seen before. I met a lot of people from him, and Mariner has a lot of great alumni too that come back. A lot of Division 1 wrestlers, a lot of state qualifiers in their room, a lot of state placers. So I feel like I got lucky going to two great programs from freshman year to junior year, being at Grand Street, and now being in Florida, being in the Mariner room. I feel like I got very lucky and blessed to be in a room with just great coaches and great teammates.
Yeah, it's really great. It's a real cool thing. So now the last question, what is the difference in preparation going to be on your way to the state title, being in Florida versus being in NYC? And by that, I mean NYC, cold weather, taking public transportation most of the time. You see a lot more unhealthy food spots than healthy food spots. And then Florida, a lot more spread out, warmer weather, and there's a lot more healthy food around you than not because of the weight that could matter a lot.
Yeah, I just focus on wrestling my best, being the best person going into the state tournament. Because a lot of it, you could be the best wrestler and have a bad weekend due to something you did on a Monday, on a Tuesday. Of leading into the state tournament. So just trying to have um, a great tournament at the states and just peaking at the right time. There's a lot of people that could have a great start to the season, be 15-0, get to the state, get to the states or get to the month of states and starts getting a little rocky. That's another thing that my dad preaches, just peaking at the right time, being your best at the right time. So at the districts, regionals, and states, and just obviously you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose any matches, but just making it there is a big accomplishment. So let's say losing the regional finals, you only gotta be the champ one weekend. As long as you make it there, um, as long as I make it to the states, I could just have one hell of a weekend and be a state champ. Obviously, want to be undefeated, want to be dominant, but there are gonna be some wins that just has to be grit, just have to be tough, and there might be a match where I win 1-0, 2-0, overtime match, ultimate rideouts, but it's all a part of wrestling. Just have to be tough, and that's how I just have to visualize it going into states. That's how I prepare. A lot of just visualizing how the state tournament will go.
Now, do you think that along with all the visualization and all the work being put in on the mat and paying attention to your technique and such, do you think that being consistent with your nutrition, being consistent with the extra workouts outside practice, making sure that that number on the scale doesn't get too high or too low? Do you think those things also, like being disciplined in those things, help the other things and then help you be at your best when regionals come around, when states come around?
Yeah, it plays a big part because um, it just you have to feel your best to wrestle your best. You could be the best wrestler in the bracket, and if you don't feel good and you're not at your best, there's other people that are gonna have, like I just said, like they're gonna be having a great weekend, and you're gonna have to pull out those wins. And if if you don't feel good and you can't wrestle for 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, you're not gonna be able to pull out those matches. So I think it's very important. Um, just be always being one step ahead. Never having to worry about cutting weight same morning, throwing layers on to wrestle the same morning. Just being on weight, get to um, you know, eat a little something, drink a little something, then being prepared to wrestle instead of right damn, oof, I almost missed weight.
Do you think it's easier to do that in Florida than in NYC?
Um, I think it's easier to make weight in Florida because New York there's not as much, especially in the city. I could say maybe Long Island and Staten Island have a little more of the Florida style, but I feel like city, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, the Bronx, we have it tougher because there's not a lot of you could just go to the gym. You could just we have beat the streets. We have a couple things that help, but I feel like you could just go outside. You don't even need a gym. You don't need to be indoors. I feel like this is more of it's Florida is more of a mindset thing. You know who wants it just by seeing people outside running and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like you got everything going. Team got everything going mentally. You guys really seem to understand that what you do off the mat might be even more important than what you do on the mat. 'Cause everybody can learn the same amount of moves, same kinds of technique and everything else, but like you said, the guy that is messing up with their nutrition, messing up with their weight, not doing the extra workouts after practice on the weekends, whatever, they ain't gonna have a great weekend compared to the people that are. So you guys have the right mindset. Seems like you guys are ready to go.
That's a very big part. Just being prepared. Because when you get to the state tournament, everybody knows a high crotch, everybody knows a double leg, everybody knows a single leg, everybody knows all these moves. It's just how you execute them, and then sometimes one takedown, one escape wins the match. So it just comes down to off the mat things, or it's not even always running outside. Sometimes it's not even always about making weight and stuff. Um, just being in better shape, stuff like that, knowing that you could push yourself when you don't want to work out or when it's hard. So stuff like that, because that I definitely know that plays a role once you get to the States. There's gonna be matches where someone's putting the pace on you, or you have to put the pace. You're down late in the third period, or it's overtime. You're both pushing the pace at the same time, going for a takedown. So you just gotta be strong enough mentally and physically.
That's right. Y'all are definitely, based on videos I'm seeing, you're definitely doing that.
Yeah, we definitely are.
So I don't know
Yes.
exactly. Oh, say what you're gonna say.
So everybody sees the dancing videos, but behind the scenes, we are putting in work. I won't say we might be a bunch of dancers, but we're gonna be pretty great wrestlers too.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Is y'all state tournament in February like ours?
Um, I'm pretty sure it's in New York. It's in February, right? So I think it's the month after.
What's in March? Cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we have a little longer season, but that's just more time to prepare, just more time
exactly.
to get better.
And y'all are definitely utilizing that time, right? So good luck, getting to the state tournament. I know you're gonna get there, but good luck when you go through that process when it actually comes around. So doing all your teammates and just keep up the good work. And I hope y'all all stay healthy. That's a big thing. People getting injured. I hope you guys all stay healthy. Everything goes
Yeah,
well
major.
that way, so you can keep working.
Thank you, bro. Health, being
That's good.
healthy is a very big part.
Yeah. Yeah, well, great interview. Thanks for coming on, Vic. I'm gonna keep watching y'all.
Thank you. I will keep you. I'll keep you posted.